This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store, Forged Irish Stout, freebets.com. Always been the theme of 2024. Join me, Spencer Oliver. Always delighted to be joined with you, mate. How are things, mate? How have we been?
Lewis, really good, mate, really good. It's good to be down here, actually, in Booth's boxing gym. Adam Booth. First time I've actually been here. Wicked gym, man, like old school. It reminds you, like, you can smell it when you come in, do you know what I mean? I love that. It's like just hard work that goes on in here, and yeah, just good to catch up with Josh Buatsi ahead of his fight for February the 3rd against Dan Azeez.
I was going to say that Joshua Buatsi is taking on Dan Azeez on February the 3rd. We spoke to Dan Azeez about 10 days ago now, about 2 weeks now. We're now in Joshua Buatsi's gym, further building up a really, really exciting fight for February the 3rd. Yeah,
absolutely. Listen, it's a case of friends turned enemies, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? They go back, they've got a lot of history together. They were both at totally different stages of their careers. Dan Azeez has got that momentum. He's done it the old school way, English, Commonwealth, European. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, Southern Area English, Commonwealth, European. He's done it on the road. He's learned his trade on the road. So it's now a real 50-50 fight. It's a great fight. Really looking forward to it. Both guys know what they're going into. They know what they can get potentially if they win the fight. You know, with this whole thing, what is it rumoured to be? Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev in June time out in Saudi Arabia. The winner of this, the final eliminator for the WBA, puts himself in a prime position. They may get that shot. So a lot on the line, man, going into this. And it's a real local derby as well. And when you get that, you never quite know how it's going to go. If you asked me who was going to win this maybe 18 months ago, you got to go Buatsi, but Dan Azeez has made up a lot of ground over the last 18 months or so.
I was going to say that, like, it's one of these fights where, you know, it's a proper great British scrap, you know, both from South London, local derby. There's something about this when it comes to like a purist level. There's everything that you really ask for.
Anyone that knows boxing knows that this, this is a proper trade fight. But anyone that knows boxing knows that this is a serious fight, man. Stylistically, it's a match made in heaven. Both guys, that they know what's on the line. They know, but stylistically, they'll both meet head on in the ring because that's how they fight. Dan Azeez is one of those guys that looks to wear opponents down, take them into deep waters. And Buatsi is one of those guys that's spiteful. He's heavy-handed, and he likes to fight that way as well. So it's going to be a great fight.
Well, I suppose we'll go back to last Saturday, Mikaela Mayer, I suppose, losing to Natasha Jonas. Since that, there's been obviously a lot of talk, a lot of controversy about the scoring. How did people sort of thought it went? How did you sort of see the fight when you was obviously covering it for TalkSport?
Look, I thought that Mayer won the fight by 2 rounds. I think I had it 96-94. Went back, re-watched it to try and see if I could sort of see it a different way. And you go, well, you can maybe you're trying to even get it a little bit closer, but I couldn't. I think Mayer won the fight, if I'm totally honest, and it was one of those ones. But you know what? It's a shame the controversy that surrounds the result, because the fight was incredible. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's sort of taken it all away from the fight itself. When you look at, both girls left it all in the ring. They delivered, man, and that's what it was all about. This is all about women's boxing, how it's evolved. Filling like the MS Arena. And you look at the show in 2022 with the all women's card where they filled the O2. You go, women's boxing, women's sport is increasing so much, and that fight was insane. And the result took that away a little bit, which is a shame because it's subjective scoring. It's like what way you go. What do you think about it? I spoke to Joe Gallagher about this as well, and he said, look, he can see it being a draw. It could have gone 1 round either way. What people got to remember is that with Tash as well, all right, look, the boxing gods were with her the other night because, I thought Mayer won, like a lot of other people did. The majority of people felt Mayer won that fight. But what is that music done it? It's right. Yeah, so but what people have got to look at is that's the way that boxing goes. Like Natasha Jonas, Terry Harper, controversial split draw that should have gone Tash's way. Then you go like Natasha Jonas versus Katie Taylor. Lost on a split decision. Could quite easily have gone Tash's way. And you just think, is she going to hit the post, be the nearly girl, the one that doesn't get over the line? She goes on, incredibly wins 2 world titles at 2 different weights. And you go, now this one goes close, and it went her way. That's the way it goes, man. Do you know what I mean? She had a strong argument that she beat Harper. She had a strong argument that she beat Taylor, and they didn't go her way. this one went away, and that's the way the game goes.
It brings me to a point when it comes to scoring in boxing. Your TalkSport colleague Adam Catterall, he tweeted out, I suppose, his displeasure at the result, and he talked about sort of needing the unified scoring criteria amongst all governing bodies and amongst all sanctioning bodies. Do you feel like that could be a reasoning way forward? You know, every judge is singing off the same hymn sheet, and it isn't the typical like what you like stuff.
Do you know what it is though? It's like with judges, the beauty about the sport of boxing is we all watch a fight and we all see it slightly differently. That's why you get controversial scoring, etc., etc. But the talk of going from 2-minute rounds to 3-minute rounds, I'm a big fan of 2-minute rounds because I go, you're not diluting it. Do you know what I mean? The girls go all in and they put in, because they haven't got time to sort of pace themselves or do whatever. 10 2-minute rounds, they go all in and you get great fights. You go over the 3-minute rounds and then you could be diluting it a little bit. But going to talking about the judging and the scoring and whatnot, I go, this is where we're at with it. People saying, well, if it was over 3-minute rounds, I think it'd be easier for the judges to score. Fuck that. A judge should be good enough. If he's appointed to be a judge on a world title fight, he should know who's won a round, whether they're minute rounds or 2-minute rounds. Not fucking like, oh, well, maybe 3-minute rounds could be the decisive factor. Well, of course it would be a different fight and a different outcome over the 3-minute rounds. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Women's boxing, 2-minute rounds, they put on like, look, Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, unbelievable. Shannon Courtney versus Ebony Bridges, unbelievable fight. What I'm saying is just a couple that come into my mind. There's so many good fights that, you know, the women are putting on. Don't change it. The judges maybe need looking at. You know what I mean? Like, they come up with scores and you just go, how have you done that? Explain yourself, come in, and don't just give them a slap on the wrist, fucking downgrade them. Because you're talking about people's lives, people's, you know what I mean, families, like their future, you know what I mean, their financial security. So, you know, it's not down to them who wins. Like in the ring, they put on a great show. Like unfortunately for Mikaela Mayer, it never went her way, but I think the judges need looking at as opposed to anything else. That's how we fix it.
Do you feel like a rematch should probably be the necessary option for both?
I think so. And I think Natasha would take it in a heartbeat, and I think it would make it actually a bigger fight now than it was last time. You know, like, you know, when you look at like Froch Groves, look at how the second one went. Because of the controversy surrounding this one, Natasha Jonas is 39, coming up 40 years of age now. You know, she said it's her last year in the sport. She wants the biggest fight. She's looking for a Katie Taylor return, or she could even go up Clarissa Shields. There's Jessa McCaskill there as well, unify the titles. But you're looking at it, you go, this is a great time to give her opportunity again, Mikaela Mayer. Go over it again. Who wouldn't want to see that fight? So I'm hoping we see it again, if I'm totally honest. I think Joe Gallagher would be up for that. I think Natasha would be up for it. And I know Mikaela obviously would love another opportunity. So
absolutely. And I suppose we'll talk about another fight that got announced yesterday. Florian Marku takes on Chris Kongo. Looking at March for that, a potential date in the pipeline. There's bad blood between the two, you know. Look at the Buatsi Azeez press conference at the start, right in front of me, them two shoving each other. Excited for this fight and what holds with it?
Absolutely. Do you know what? I love this fight actually. Florian Marku's value for money, isn't he? He's like, you know what I mean? He's a promoter's dream because he will sell a fight. Do you know what I mean? He talks the talk and he walks the walk. Do you know what I mean? Chris Kongo is like that as well. You know, Chris Kongo is like, have gumshoe, will travel, fight anyone, anywhere, even in their backyard. That's what I like, man. It's all like very old school. These two are just going, that's the fight I want. They're both super excited for it. They want to put it on the line, and yeah, it's great, man. It's great. That's great. It's a great fight, that one. I'm looking forward to that.
And I did have to ask you, with it about being, I suppose, on Saturday, being 2 or 3 weeks away, Tyson Fury taking Oleksandr Usyk. We're seeing more and more training clips come out from the two. I feel it's one of these fights where both people are going to flip-flop, you know, whether you're Fury or Usyk. At this point on the 25th of January 2024, how are we looking at the fight and how do you see it going?
Fucking hell, it's a tough one, that, you know, like, because I've always been very strong on Fury winning the fight. Obviously, you go off last performances, and that was a terrible performance against Francis Ngannou, taking nothing away from Ngannou in his performance, you know what I mean, in his timing and his actual boxing game plan. You recognise actually he fits anywhere, and that's why it makes the fight with Anthony Joshua much more credible than if it would have been announced before. But what we do know now is what Ngannou brings to the table, so that's an advantage for Anthony Joshua, because he knows now he can't take a fight lightly. When a fighter has no fear factor in him, it's a big problem, and I think Fury had that. He turned up there. Forget that he may have been trained. He may have undertrained to where he should have been because he thought, I'm going to turn up. I've got a guy in a different discipline and I'm going to play with him. I'm going to beat him and it's going to be a big show for Saudi before my undisputed. Well, it was a rude awakening, but you know, it helps the other heavyweights who are going to fight France and Ghana, especially Anthony Joshua. Fury won't make that mistake again. You will see the Fury of old going into this fight. You know, forget now people talking about, you know, rumours circulating. Did Opetaia drop him and he was sent home in 5 rounds? I don't read into all that, if I'm totally honest. I think Opetaia has got his own business to deal with Marius Bradus on the undercard out there. That's a tough, tough fight. And I just think styles for Marius didn't, for Opetaia, didn't suit with Tyson Fury being 6'9", gangly, long and everything else. Totally different style of fighter, and perhaps there was a little bit of that. That's not the sparring I need as well, Tyson. I want to help you, but I need help myself because he's going into a serious fight. Do you know what I mean? So don't read too much.
That's what I read that. I had the same opinion as you.
Don't read too much into him dropping Tyson Fury because I don't believe that. Fury looks in great shape, and I think that we see the Tyson Fury of old going into this one, and for that reason only, I think Fury's too big. I think he manhandles him. Like, Fury's great at range, he's got a great boxing IQ. Usyk has as well, and he'll be moving around, he'll be trying to get him. But Tyson's great at tying fighters up, leaning on them, outworking them, getting down, biting down his gum shield. Tyson Fury's just too big for me, and on that basis, I think he wins the fight against Oleksandr Usyk. It just makes it so much more interesting now because of last performances. And you go on last performances and you go, well, Usyk is coming out the winner here. But don't read into the Tyson Fury and Ngannou fight because mindset plays a big part in your training camps and everything, and Fury may be underestimating Ngannou.
Absolutely. The Omen has spoken. Spencer Oliver, thank you for taking time to speak to me. Always good to catch up with you, mate. And yeah, enjoy this. I'm sure we'll be catching up next week with Buatsi Azeez, mate.
Of course, I look forward to it.
Top man, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.